Hello, welcome back to today's episode. It's episode 10 and we are back. And in today's episode, we have done something very interesting. We have implemented authentication. So we took all the principles that I explained in yesterday's video. If you haven't watched this video, please start by watching this video and don't forget to like it. So we took all the principles we did in this video, the flows, how we are going to use the Node.js API to actually do all these things, and we're able to actually do this. And you can see this is a super admin logged in, and if you want to know that this is actually true, you can just like log out, and you see this takes us to the login page. If you try to go to the dashboard, okay, you can see you cannot go to the dashboard. As well as if you try to go, let's first go back to the home page. Of course, you can go to the home page. If you try to go to this route that was not protected, this onboarding, now you can also not see that you cannot see the that. But if we just go ahead and we put in the credentials, for instance, super admin, and then here we put super, and we log in. So this is logging us in, and you can see for the super admin, it takes him to this route where he can actually register a new school onto the system. Okay, so this is what we implemented. There is a lot of work that we did. For instance, both the create user and the login user, and you can see when you put in the email and password, we're generating the access token and the refresh token. And then when you come and log in the site, we persist this information both on the server side and on the client side, so that you can get the user. So for instance, well, at this point here, we are checking the user on the server side. But if you log in, for instance, at the dashboard, now you can go to the dashboard. You can see the super admin here. This component is actually on the client side, and we have all these things. We have also implemented the logout functionality, and we used zustand and also the cookies. And you can use we use the you can see, for instance, we have the get server user. You can see we're using the cookies in the latest way or the latest version. And we also have things like logout functionality, which is actually deleting the cookies. We have this create the session function. You can see here, create server session, and we are creating this create server session, which we are creating it, running it in this login user. And it was really amazing doing all these things. And we also did, of course, these endpoints. We updated the schemas to cater for the users. And in our next episode is going to be also really massive. Start by liking the video, and let's get started. Hello, welcome back to our 10th episode of our school management system. It has been a minute, and I think almost 7 days or 8 days without any episode. I'm really sorry, and it has been really tough on my side, but I'm back, and we are resuming with another episode. And trust me, we will build this system, and it will be really working. So we're just going today, we are going to add authentication because we have done a lot of things so far. But what is remaining right now, we should be able for different schools to log into their backends. It is something that we really need to work on. There's a lot of stuff to work upon when we talk about authentication of this system, more so that it is at school. Okay, so I'm just going to hope that you have watched this video I released yesterday. Okay, I talked about that this video and there are two videos I released yesterday one about React query and another one about authentication. I really want you to first take some time before you watch this episode. You go through this authentication flow that we are going to use into the system. So having assumed that you watched this video, and please, the first thing always when you're watching this content, please always like the video so that YouTube can really promote it, people to view it. I really thank you. If you have subscribed, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe and always like the videos, because it really takes in. And even these days you see me missing, it is just a content. It is not really easy, as you know, YouTube does not fully support us. So you have to really work around to make sure that you have a balance on what you are doing. But with that out of the way, we're just going to start on that. And now the authentication we are going to implement, we are going to start with the Node.js API, and after the Node.js API, we'll go ahead and then we plug in our Next.js application to use the Node.js API. I don't know how much we're going to implement today, but at least we should be to build the endpoints, and we see how we can roll with it. So if you just go to our implementation guide, it is actually very easy. As you can see, want to make sure that the registration is as good as possible, and want to go ahead. So yesterday I talked about the authentication flow, and the first process is actually starting with registration. So we'll just have to register a user, and then after that we'll go ahead and create session at that point for this user to log in, or you can just even just create a create, and then you allow a user to actually go ahead and log in. It depends on how we're going to look at the flow, but we might actually, after the first registration, we'll let them to actually log in into the system. So there is this authentication. You're going to find this link here in the documentation, our documentation. I also have this the reusable. We're just going to be using some of these things to really hit a path. Okay, so let's just go first open our Node.js API. So I have here the web plus the API, which is this one. It is also running at this point. So I can just scroll down here to first take this one off. Okay, and now it starts by going back to we could start with going back to the schema. So let me just go here to the schema. So we have a couple of things. You can see we have the teachers, we have the students, the parents. Now right now we're just going to actually have these all these ones are going to be users. Okay, so what I can just right now do is, okay, I'm just going to have to create one more model for actually the user, and then it will be just also connecting to all these other models. Okay, let me see. The good thing is that when we'll be creating all these, the only person that will be able to register first, I think, will be the super admin, and all others, other users like the teachers, students, are all going to be actually from inside. So our system still stands where we're going to have it here. So I'm just going to have a model for users. Okay, you can see the important things. I'm just going to register a few things in the register, and the reason being is going to be that we have these other models. Okay, we have all these other models. For instance, if you just go down here, for instance, you have the parent. So the parent has all these things that we don't want to repeat. You can see here has this title, first name, last name, email, and all that. Okay, so what we want instead is that we need to create a simple model which is going to store actually what I may just say. We might just take a few things maybe from these. Okay, as you can see here, for instance, the password, you can see we already have these people here submitting this information, the first name, last name, and other things like even password. So we just have to abstract them and create a user's model out of it, and then we're going to see how we're going to handle this. So for the first being, you're just going to need, for instance, I'm just going to duplicate. I'm just going to say for me, let's copy this. I'm just going to open here cloud. I'm just going to say create for me a Prisma model for these values. So you can just like have email. So we just have we'll have here this let's say user email, password. The most important one is going to be role. So here just going to have the role, first name, last name. Just going to have maybe actually the name. Okay, then phone, then gender, and then image. Okay, so I'll just need only these ones. I think these ones will be enough. Okay, they maybe the only one thing I'm just going to add also is going to be the school ID. Okay, the school ID. What is school ID? If wanted, for some reason, we could also add the school name, because you might just need somewhere this school name, and it is very hard to actually get these two here. So we just need to do this. Okay, we need to go ahead and do the registration, something like this. Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and let it create this. Now just going to say down here, create a 1-to-1 relationship. So we're just going to create a relationship, a 1-to-1 relationship with for instance a teacher. So a Prisma user model, so it's going to be user model, teacher, student, and parent. For now we just create others, a 1-to-1 relationship with teacher, parent, and student and parent. Okay, where these so these ones are just going to be like the profile. Okay, like a teacher is going to be a profile that extends the user, and you have more data in the teacher, and the same like these like this. So let's go ahead and see if I just say create this, say what it is going to go ahead and create. Okay, so you can see that we have the model for the user. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and get this model just like this, and then so down here I want to put it on top somewhere to be the, okay, so after this I'm just going to put the user here. So the user has the ID. Let's check that it is okay. What is going on? Just do this. We don't want to copy everything, and copy up to user here. Okay, I just need just the user only. Okay, so if you just look, it has an ID. So the ID, so say check our IDs. We're using the CID, so it generates the ID, the email, the password, and then we have this, the role, which is user role. We can also just get the user role. At this point, just get the user role and just like add it here, the user role. So right now we have this admin, teacher, student, and parent. We'll be adding more, okay, the secretary and so on, but let's just keep it simple to understand this. And then okay, so let's go continue. So we have the school ID and school name. Okay, related fields. I don't know if we just like we have to create we don't need, we could just relate it with the school. Okay, okay, school ID and then the school name. Then we have one-to-one relationships, as you can see here, the teacher, the student, and the parent. Now we can just like link these ones. So in the teacher, you simply have to add in this. Okay, so just simply let's go start with the teacher. So you can just go to the teacher, and inside here model teacher, what is the teacher? Okay, so we can just say go ahead and add in this information here. We can just add this relationship, the user, take this on delete cascade, and user ID unique. Okay, so it has this the user ID. Okay, let's move on. The same thing, we have to do it in this in the student. Okay, so let's go back here. Parent also needs this, so I'm just going to go here, put this like this, and finally in the student also needs this. Okay, just like this. Okay. We'll go ahead and we'll clear our database now. We'll not have, because all these pens, everyone has to have the also the school ID. Next. Okay, students. Okay, let's see, teacher and others. So far so good. This model is okay for the user. Let me see. Okay, so we have here this, and the most important one is the user role plus this the school ID and the school name. Okay, the school ID and the school name. Now we don't want them to be optional because there should not be any user who actually doesn't have a the school ID or doesn't have a belonging. So this one is going to be a mandatory, like for every user must belong to a certain school. We don't want a user who is actually existing and doesn't have these two fields. Okay, great. So how do we, and we can also save those ones if we wanted, but they just leave them here on the school. So how do we have this? There is one more thing we need, I believe. Let me just see. Something else is about the token. This, just look at the schema here. So we need the user. This one we already have. There is one we need, this one for the refresh token. So just going to use also this one, we need it. So I'm just going to go where we have like a user here, and I'm just going to go below the user. I will add this model for the refresh token, and a user can have multiple refresh tokens. So as you can see that a refresh token must have a user ID. Okay, and meaning that a user can have multiple refresh tokens. If you're still confused about the refresh token, please first watch that video I showed you at the beginning to explain what is an access token and a refresh token. So here in the user, we just simply add that here. Just going to go ahead and add refresh tokens. Okay, that's really good. Okay, so we have this. Now the moment we push this, is going to crash our data will be crashed, and the reason being we have some breaking changes. Let me show you, for instance. So we are saying right now that for instance, each parent must have a user ID, okay, of which is not the case. If you just also there is this, and you can see it is unique. So we have to first work on that. So I'm just going to go ahead and open here this. I know what could be the best way to do this. I'm just going to open, I think, Prisma. I'm just going to say npx. Let me just add here another terminal, and I'm just going to say npx Prisma Studio. So I'm just going to start the studio, and the studio is going to help us to delete some of the data. So now we cannot have users and also in these other ones, let me just first go before we finish here. As you can see, the user, so if you wanted in each of these, for instance, the teacher, if you remember, there is where we commented out, you will see somewhere like where we commented out the school, okay, where we commented out the school. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have to have a relationship like a school where you have to have this. So at this point we can actually also just like rate this. We can just also do this. Now that means like a school can have teachers if you just do this. It means like you can just go to the school here, and you can just, you see here we had teachers. Okay, so where we have like parents, you can just say come here and say teachers, and then here can just say teacher, just like this. And this the same thing to parents, and then here you can just have like parents, and then there's the same thing to students. Classes, I'm just going to first leave that one, but these three we can now activate them: the student, the parent. So you can just simply go to any of these ones. And so for instance in the parent, there is, I'm very sure there is where we commented this out here. Okay, we have one. Okay, we have one that we need to comment, and this is in the student. You can just also go ahead and do this. Okay, great. So now they all have the relationship, and the good thing is that now if you just go in the school, from the school you can even know how many students they have, how many parents they have, and how many teachers they have. You can just have all this data to the school. If you wanted, you could also get the classes and the streams. I'm just going to first leave them for the classes and the streams. At this point, yeah, we just like leave these even the streams. So just go to the class, and then just comment this, and one remaining in the stream. You can also just go ahead and comment this. Okay, so you can see all the data now we have is absolute. Now the fact that we need the school ID. So I'm just going to go ahead, go to this, and let's say here we have different things that we have created. I'm saying like it is saying 0, for instance, users 0. That is, we already had like a user. Let's go for instance to class. I thought like we have some data already in the database. Yeah, we have a lot of for instance a lot of classes. Okay, so if you just look at the classes, they have also the streams. I can select everything and delete. And this I think means that if you delete this, now that is why you cannot delete this, whereby they are also dependent on some other things. So for instance, let's first go to streams and see. Okay, so we have here for instance streams, which has status, flag, and then the class ID. So these ones, they can be for instance deleted. And we could just go here on the relationship between the stream. So we have this class on delete cascade, and let's see the class has with this the school. Okay, I'm just going to start by these ones. Let's just delete all these records. I know what is happening. Is it seems like it is not allowing me to be able to delete. I don't know. Function. What is going on? Okay, let me first go and see if I can delete, for instance, one record, like in a class or something. Why can't I delete? Why can't I delete a record? Oh, okay. Seems like that one has gone. Okay, just go to class one. Delete this. Okay, so class one cannot be deleted. Okay, let me just first leave that one. Okay, just go to others and I want to see. So we're able to delete class one. So if I check on these others, okay, let's give it a try one more time. Okay, I cannot delete. Just try one. Okay, I'm not sure if it is the multi delete which is not working, because if you delete one, it seems to be actually deleting them, but if you select multiple of them, it doesn't actually delete them. Okay, and I'm assuming if I delete a class, it should go with the streams, I believe. Let's hope so. And just remaining with two classes, so we cannot delete, for instance, I think some of them they miss some data. Just try the ones which are deletable and then we'll deal with these two other ones. So let's go, for instance, to class 6. Okay, there is also this relationship that we have with students. Oh, okay. There is a relationship also between the class. I'm just saying there is this relationship between the class and the students. Let's first see how is that relationship between class and the student. So here in the student, let's see down here, school and class. Okay, so we're supposed to have here when you delete a class, what happened to the student? That's what is happening right now. Like if you happen to have, for instance, so you have to first go and delete the students right now, but we need to make a tough decision. For instance, if you delete a class, what should happen to the students? Or like if you also delete the stream, what should happen to the students in that stream? Okay, so I don't know how to handle that, but let's first go to the students. Okay, so I don't know why I cannot show the students at this point. Okay, so it says invalid error Prisma client. Uh, so what I'm just going to do right now, I'm just going to do something like, let me just see if I can go to the Neon database. Okay, so I have here these. I'm just going to go to the school, and then I have my tables. Where can I see the tables? So you have the tables here. Okay, so you can see we have so many tables at this point right now. Okay, so I need to clean up everything, and you know how I can do that. Need to let me see if I want to delete, for instance, this table. What does this table's branch is unarchived during query modification response? This may be slow. I don't know what that term means, but we can just go, for instance, to classes. So we have these three fields. I'm very sure even deleting them from here might not be possible. So let's try to delete them from here. What happens? Okay, update or delete table classes violates the foreign key constraint student class ID on table students. Okay, so let's go to the students. We have the students. So if I try to actually delete all the students, okay, so now if I go back to the classes, I check all of them and let's delete them. Okay, so you can see now you cannot delete, but if we just go to the streams, now that we don't have, you can see all the streams were gone. So we have to make a decision. If someone deletes a class, what does the student go? The students have also to go and the streams. Okay, and those are like the tough decisions you have to make when you have already assigned the students. Either you cannot delete before you delete the students, or you either have to do that. Someone should comment what should happen if someone deletes, for instance, a class. I'm just going to try to ask Cloud, see what would advise. So if I had a relationship where a class has streams, and also it has students. Okay, when I delete a class, what should happen to the students? Should I also should they also be deleted? You can just like see how it can advise about that. Like when it comes to relationships, you have to come up with the tough decisions, and you can see it says on delete cascade when it goes to the student. So you can see here that when you delete a class, the students must also go. So I'm just going to update that here. So where we have these references, for instance, with the class, you can just add comma and then click on delete cascade. What means that when this class is deleted, this student will also go. So you can see if you delete a parent, also the student goes, and as well if you delete for instance a stream, also the student goes. Okay. What it is, the relation where we have for instance a stream, let's check the relationships. It has these two. With a class, you can see that one we had it already. Going back to the class, okay, we have fixed now the students, they will have to go. I think that's the only challenge we had. Let's go back here. I want to clean everything before we make this push, because it will crash everything if we just push. Contacts, those ones we might leave them. They have no problem, they have no any relationships at this point. These ones we can actually just like leave them. Okay, these ones I'm just going to leave them. Departments, okay, they will have to be deleted. They have ID, created at, updated, and the name slag HOD start budget. Okay, I think okay, they also have, I think they don't have any relationship. They might not be affected by any of these. I believe they don't have any direct link to the school or anything. I don't know. They have ID, created at. What do they have? They should have an attachment, I believe. Okay, they should also have like either a school ID, the departments. How do we know that they belong to this particular school? Because when you're going to be fetching, we'll be fetching depending on that. Let's look at the departments. Can I search? Control F. Department. Okay, so they have a relationship to a teacher. A teacher has a department. Okay, just go to the department, basic information. Okay, so you can see also it has a relationship with the school actually. Okay, so just go to the school, and the school should have like departments. This is going to be department. Okay, so let's also go ahead and delete the departments. And this one should just be deleted easily. Okay, they say department values for any key constraint subject department ID. So you might just like have to delete. So when you delete a department, and a department has subjects, so if you just go here in the department, you will see that the department has for instance, it has teachers and it also has students. So when we delete a department, what happens to the teachers? Okay, because you're saying that a teacher must have a department and a teacher must have also the subject. So let's go here. Okay, teacher, and then you have a user, and it also has this. Okay, you can see on delete cascade. I think this is not written like that. Cascade. Cascade. Okay. Then we have others. So that means like before you do this, we have to go to you have to go to teachers. Let's see here. Okay, we have 3 teachers. I don't think they can allow us to delete this. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, so these others, we don't have anything. Teacher documents, teacher tendencies, subjects. Okay, so you have the subjects. We have the students. We don't have anything there. Streams, schools. Okay, so we have some school. I will also delete that school. Okay, because when someone creates a school, at that point we'll also create a user. We can't just like leave that school anyways. Oh, we still have the parents, so we can just like delete all the parents. And then we have departments. Now I guess we can delete the departments. Contacts, the ones we can leave them. Classes. Okay, so right now we don't have anything. We have deleted all the data. Okay, even if you go back to the API now, let me see which API are we working with. Like I have tons of APIs here. Okay, you have the school pro here. So even if you go to, for instance, to get classes, these should just like we don't have anything here. We have classes brief. Okay, so this should just like give us an empty array. Okay, so we don't have any data right now, so just like need to right now send these changes. So I will go ahead and stop the server, and I will just say npx prisma db push, and you can just say also that npm run dev. So this should just like push the changes, and then afterwards it should start the server. It will create some new tables, and then update also the relationships, and then we'll see how we start like handling this whole thing. So that means that because as we saw in the user, everything starts from the school. They're saying here, ignore warnings. Just going to say yes, and let's see what is going to happen. So if you just go back to the user, can I access the user here? The user must have this. So the everything starts with the school. Okay, so upon creating the school, at that point we'll create the super admin. So you can say like, we also have the admin sort of like a profile. These are like profile. So teacher, this is a profile. These are all profiles. Okay, so we'll have these here, and you can see some of the controllers are complaining because of lacking some other fields that we need to send there. That is going to be worked on. So the everything starts on registration, on creation of a school. When you create a school, at that point we'll create one user. Okay, we'll go ahead and create one user who is going to be an admin. We'll not have um, will not have will not have a register form on the website anywhere whereby you can register, I believe. Okay, if you remember that we said the registration, for instance, for the school. Okay, if you just go here, do I still remember the pages we have? I remember we created the login. So this one is why you request. Okay, this is why you request, and then there is where you come, and then like this is going to be the login. Then where do we register the school? They put the link somewhere in the footer or something. Okay, so this is why we have here this the admin. Okay, so now this route here, this the school onboarding, is a very big thing. So we might actually need to create a super admin, because you can imagine this route is not protected in any way, and because if you create a school here, this is where everything starts. This is a very big thing. When someone is able to create a school, the next screen is going to be like able to create like an admin user for that school, or even asking for more information. So the it will have to be this. So for that case, I'm just going to add one more role. So there is an admin. So just going to have one super admin, super super admin. So how do I create that? Like an underscore like this. So just going to have this super admin, and the super admin, this one is going to be the owner of the system. He should be the person to be able to log in, and then is taken to the school onboarding where you can actually register a new school. Should be only the admin able to do that. Meaning, basing on that, we'd have to actually, so let me first push these changes. The super admin, the one we have just added, just push that. So we should be able to register through the API. We register that. So you just like go ahead and use this create user, we need to submit all these information. Okay, so now the tricky part is here. We say that the user must have this school ID and the school name, but the super admin is not even part of the school. It does not need to belong to any school. Okay. Also, I think how can we protect this page minus using like authentication? We could just provide a simple authentication for this. How do we do that? Because if you just go to the school onboarding, this page need to be protected. Okay, and we however much we have added the super admin, we cannot create a new user minus creating a school, because all users must belong to a particular school. But the system owner is not actually a user, is not supposed to log in to any particular school. Okay. So how is that going to be possible? That's why they were making this not to be required, because that's the only way to understand that this does not belong to any particular school. So that means like this and this, we can make them not required. Like for that case, it is very possible for a user not to belong to any school, and that is a super admin. So we make these ones not required, and yeah, just going also to push those changes. Okay, just like this. Okay, nice. So now we can be able to register. We can be able to register now a user minus. Okay, we can be able to register a user minus this here. Okay, the role of super admin. So ID, email, we need to submit all these ones. So yes, I go ahead now, use this user to create these the routes. So if you go back here, there is why you have the route configurations. We need the register, login, refresh, and logout. At least these 4 of them. Let's start with the simple one. So go in the routes. I can just go to any of these ones, and let's try to create or duplicate one here, and I will just call this one to be now user. Sorry, user, and then here I'll just say user router, and then we can change these here. Okay, so the first one is going to be register. So you're just going to have the register, and this one's going to be create user. So you can just go to this routes, and just going to say users, and this is going to be create user. Okay, now we could just also like we'll be sending, I think, like a verification code for the email. I don't know, but let's just go here. where we have the props to keep our types. These okay, so export type. Here's going to be, for instance, user create props. Okay, so in the user create props, what do we actually need? I can just say get those ones from the schema. So these are the things that we need up to here, guess. Let me see. Yeah, so I need up tier. I don't even need the image, so I'm just going to copy this. Okay, so the image is also not required, so let me just go to okay, we have to create actually up here because others they will be having it. So let me just go back to the types. Okay, so here the stat ID will be auto generated. Email has to be unique and it is a string. Okay, password string, so I'm just going to copy this. Okay, string, and then the role is going to be from, actually it's going to be user role from Prisma client, and then the name is a string, and even these ones, so these ones are not required, and the image also is not required. School ID is also not required. And then finally this is also not required. Okay, so these are the typical fields that we need from a user, and some of these ones are not required, so you can just use this user create. Okay, we can just use this on the user create controller. So we just created these new users, so you can just come here and get this. Okay, user create props, and that means that's why you see here we're getting these things here. So I'm just going to check if the user already existing email. So this is going to be go to the user and find the unique email. So just remove this, and existing email we can get back that we already received. So you can just come here and we say that email already exists, and then here we can just go ahead and create a new user, user create, and then we pass in the data. Okay, so you can just say user created successfully, and then it's going to be new user dot maybe there's like name. I don't need okay, yes, I could just new user dot id, and then here we're just going to return new user. Okay, great. So we could just like actually remove other routes. I don't know like which others we need, but for now we might just like maybe not get the users, we just need the register route. very simple. We have to do the hashing and everything in a second. So if you just go back here on the for instance on the registration, I believe there is where you have like the registration. Okay, we have the session. We'll use that one in a second. Authentication, database, the routes. Okay. This is on the client. Form handling and API. Okay, so here maybe I will just go here. I will see the registration process. Okay. Okay. Okay, so the first thing we have to first receive all the data. So the data here we have it. We have email. We have the password. Okay. We have the role, and then we have the name, and then we have the phone, and then what do we have next? Okay, we have the image, school, and the school name. So these are the this is the data we have. So the first thing we can try actually is hashing the password. So we can just like first create the check. So you first check if the user already exists. So after this, before you create any user, just going to go ahead and make sure that we hash the password. Okay. And I think these ones we'll have to go ahead and hash the password. Can I just have I just need to have where I'm just like register route. Can I just like go to Next.js where you have where do I have what? Okay, this is where I have this with this. I'm just going to go down here more so to okay, so I'm just going to first install bcrypt and types. I believe we must be already having bcrypt, so you could just come here and after checking existing user we could use bcrypt. And just go ahead and try to import bcrypt from bcrypt. Import bcrypt from bcrypt. I think we already have the we already have it installed, so we need to hash the password, and we're not sending any tokens or email at this point. They just like simply go and do that. Now we need to simply do this. So I could just say, don't know if I just say data dot password, and it's going to say is equal to hashed password, and just leave the like this. I think that should be actually enough. they just like try to hit this endpoint now. So create user, or you could just be register user, whichever you like. And inside here, I'm just going to say create user, and they get, we don't have anything else, we only have only one. And just going to go ahead and register this and the index, where we have the list here. I'm just going to say here user router, and now just register it here. So yes, I go ahead and they create a super admin. So let's go here and say we have to duplicate. Okay, this is why we have users. I know what is here. Okay, so I'm just going to have where we have the create user. This one was for the sequence. Just going to, can I rename this? Just going to say create user. This is going to change to a post, and it's going to be API v1 users, and it's going to be I think this register. Okay, just going to save this and then go to body, go to raw. So here we just need to pass in a JSON containing all this data. So the data we need, if I just go to this route, the create user, so this is the information we need. So we need these, and you can select all this other information is not being used. That means even if we don't, we only get the email and password are the ones we are just working with. So I just need to do what? At the end here, we could create a session. We look at that. For now, just like be able to create a user, and then also create the login, and we see how we can protect that route. Okay, so I need to send the required information, which is email, password, name, up to the name. Phone, image, school, they are not required. So you can just literally go to the API and I will send these ones. So just to do this, and then let's assign an email, for instance, super admin, super at admin.com, and then password is going to be so password is going to be, for instance, super admin. So you say here it's going to give the simple super, and then the role here is going to be super admin, just like that. The name is going to be admin, super admin. Maybe I'm just going to name this to super admin. Okay, so we have this super at admin. I believe this is beautify. Okay, so we have email, password, role, and this. We should be able to create a user with this. Let me just send, and we hope for the okay. So not found. Let's just see this register the route. First of all, is the system running? Yeah, everything is running. let's go to user route, stock register. So when do we access this? Okay, I think we just need to hit register. There is no need for users to just like the route should be like maybe we put auth. If you just look at the configuration for the routes, that is why we put on top here the routes. Okay, you can see slash register. Okay, I think that is okay. So just simply hit v1 register. Let's wait and see. Okay, so we get back the user ID, email, and then the password. You can see it was hashed, and then the role super admin, the name super, and then the phone. All these ones are null. We have the created and error is null. And if you just check on the I believe on the console, we need to be having like a console somewhere which says user created successfully. Okay, so the user was created. Now what is important right now is the login. Okay, so I'm just going to also create the login route, and should be able to go to the login, create user, and then let's go to create user. Okay, and we should be having a logic for the login. For instance, export async function. I'm just going to get this here. Just going to call this login user. Okay, so this one accepts a few things. Is going to be email and password. So you can just say here user login props, and we can just go and create these in the types. Okay, user login props, which is actually email and password. Okay, user login, so just go here. The user login gets email and password just like this, and a lot of thing just happens on the for the login. Let's see if it just comes to the login. Okay, we have refresh token, and then we have the login. So for the login, we get the email and password, and then you can try to actually find that user. So we can just say get existing user, and then we're just going to use the email, and let's say here existing user. And now if here we're just checking for if there is no existing user here, and we just say invalid credentials. So here we could just say data null. So just check if no existing user. We just say here invalid credentials. We don't need to tell the user the password is not there, because you for instance, if it is the email which has a problem, you'll be giving him hints, so we don't want to give him any hints on this. Just say invite credentials. So at this point, the next thing is to check the password, where we use the bcrypt, so you can just get the verify password. So here we can go ahead and verify the password. So is password valid? We use bcrypt and we compare the password he has entered with the existing user password. So this, the one that is stored, we compare these two, and if the password is not valid, we return the same thing, error invalid credentials. Now if the password is okay, this is where we're supposed to actually generate the tokens. Okay, so we get the token payload. Okay, we just get the token payload. Now we have to create this. So before we move very far, let's go and create these two functions: generate access token and generate refresh token. So this one is down here. So we already have in our database where we have the refresh token. The register route was here. You can also check the email format using this regex. Check existing user, hash the password, generate this. So we need to go ahead and in the returned user, we'll just check on that in a second. What I need right now is on this. So let's just create this util functions that is going to help us to generate the tokens. So in the utils, I will put this. I will just go ahead and put this. So I will just copy up here. Let me just go to. I'm just going to go to utils and let's create tokens.ts .ts and then let's paste this. Okay, so we need to install the the JW web token. You can just go to paste in JWT tokens and just say npm. So you can see that this needs to install also the types, so we can first install it by saying npm install JSON web token. Let's just go back to the console here. Go to the terminal and let's install the JW the JSON web token, and then go to this, click on this. It will take you to where you can install the types. So we just need also to install the types. So go ahead and also add the types. Okay, so now we need the access token. Now access token can last for 15 minutes. I just think this one should last for maybe about 30 minutes or 1 hour. Let's just try 30 minutes. And this one should be for 30 days. Or maybe 60. Just like try 60 minutes. And this one for 30 days. Okay, so we have this access token, and then you can see we have the interface which has the token payload, and it extends the JW2 payload, and we add in the user ID, email, and the role. So we use these ones to as the token payload. You could even just like add school ID, but since the school ID is not required, we can just like use only these three. And then down here we have this generate access token, and now we have this, we have to create this access token secret, and also the refresh token secret, these two in the env. And how we can create this, there is this rand. I saw it somewhere in, let me see if I can just get it in the Next.js documentation. Let me just go to the docs, and you can scroll to where we have authentication. I don't know why I don't cram that thing in the head. So inside here there is where you have generate secret key, and you have this open SA run. So you just can just copy this like this, just run it on the terminal. It will give us the secrets easily. So let me just try and see. Okay, just going to run this. Okay, so you can see it gives us this one. I will go to the env. Down here I will create what was this, wanted two of them. Let me just go back to the tokens. What do we need here? We need access token secret. Okay, access token secret. Okay, and refresh token secret, I believe. So we have also the refresh token secret. So just go down here and have this secret. So I can first copy this first one, add it in the access token, and just run this for the second time. It generates the second one, and just like add this. So you can just like use this OpenSSL rand base64. It will just set it pass to generate the necessary secrets. And now if we just go back to the token here, we have generate token. It takes in the payload, and this the payload. You can see we have this user ID and what, and it uses this secret. And this is how JWT generates the token. It has jwt.sign. It takes in the payload, secret, and the token options. And we have already seen the token options. We just only have the expires in. Okay, the expire time for that token. Then we have the verify access token, which takes in the token, and then it just simply use the verify. Okay, and I think this is just a boolean, and then we have also verify this. So we have all these functions in the token. So if we go back now to the usage here, we're not using it in the register. We're just using this in the login somewhere. Okay, so after here you verify the password, you create the payload, and then now we can generate these two. Okay, you can just go ahead and generate in the users. After this is going to be existing user. So this is existing user.id, existing user and this existing user.role. Now down here is where we generated two tokens. So generate the access token and also generate this here, and the token payload, just get it also from this here. Nice. So after getting these tokens, we save the refresh token in the database. So you can just say store the refresh token in the DB with the expiry date. So here, okay, since we gave this 30 days, for us we're just going to multiply here 30. So this we make sure that you expire. So this is existing user. So in the token, if you remember, in the refresh token, we created this table, if you remember very well. So if I just say Control P and I go to the schema, you will remember that we have this refresh token down here, and the refresh token, it takes in the token, the user ID, and then this of course that's also revoked, and then it expires. So if you just go back here, we just save like this. Okay, these are going to be 30 days. Okay, so we save this, and then now we can actually remove the password from the user, and then we return this. So here, okay, so we just have to remove this from the existing user. So you can just go ahead and remove the password. Do you need to do that? So just like you just say const and then just like remove the oh, okay, so just like I think this is just like renaming it to anything, and then here we have existing user, and we say user without password. So here we can just like remove the user. We also pass and send the access token plus the refresh token, and then the error. Okay, so this is what we try to get back. So let's try to actually hit this endpoint and see what is going to happen. So we have this already plugged in here. Just going to call this login user like this. So what login user is, it needs email and password. So let's go ahead and hit this endpoint. I will just also duplicate this. I will rename it to login user, and now let's go here and just say v1 login, just like this. Now this is also takes in the email and the password, so you can remove all these other ones. Let's beautify, and I'm just also going to save this here. So sending in these two, we should be given the user data back plus the access token plus the refresh token. Just like try to log in, and they're saying this doesn't really exist, v1 login. Okay, yes, I can make sure it is a post. So this is not a gate, it is a post request. I believe it is a post. Is it a post or it is a gate? uh it doesn't create anything. Does the login a create you can just like just look at the routes. Login is a post. Okay, so just like make this a post, and let's go and see. So just make sure this is a post, and let's go ahead and post this. Okay, so you can see we have a user. Let's check if we have a password in it. So you can see we have ID, email, the role, name, phone, all this, school ID, and everything. And then we can see we have the access token, and also we have the refresh token. Okay, and that means like the refresh token was saved in the DB, which is really nice. We have the access token and the refresh token. Okay, so with that, we can be able now to hit this on the other side when we try to log in on the other side. So this is what we actually just like have to use. We should be able to actually do that now on this side of the we are done with the side of the API. It generates us the token and everything. Now it's up to us to save this information and generate the sessions and so on and so forth. So on the web, we already have the login. I don't know where the login is located right now, but I believe in the auth we have the login page, which is issued is here. So right now you see that on the web, if I go to the web for a second and just go to the login, and if I try to submit the data, just add in some fake data here, submit. So you can see that we have this the email and password. So this should just like trigger that, try to do that, and then we send depending on what we get, and we persist that in the also the session. Okay, so that is great. What I need right now is to create a serve action. So I'm just going to create here. Also say like I'm just going to say login.ts. Okay, just going to maybe okay, login.ts. Start by saying use server. Okay, so export async function login user. Okay, and then this. So this is going to accept the data, and we could just say that it should be email and password. So email string and password, which is also a string. Just receive something very easy like this, and then we can have a try catch. Do something here, and then here just going to say console.log the error. Okay, so we can just like try to post information here. Just going to try to post to do a post. What's the time? Okay, still have, just going to make it 2 hours. So let's just try to do something here. So what do we need? We need to hit this endpoint. I think, I don't know if I just like have this. We can still use I believe Axios. You can see we have this the Axios, and then and you see you can just get back this, and then we can save this. For now, let's just like focus on one thing before we do others. So I'm just going to go to the admin. I just need to get this. Copy this, and then the to log in here. So API, get the API, and then post we just send to the login, and then of course the data. So at this point, what we need actually, I just need to see this this from the response.data. So I just need this. So we have this response.data. So before we return, we have the access token. These I just need to actually go ahead and console.log all these things: the user, access token, plus the refresh token. I just need to see this. Okay, so let's go ahead and just call this in our login. Okay, so I'm just going to do an await. So you could just do also a try catch if you wanted. Get this error here, and the thing we just want, we could just also const response is equal to await, and then we like login user, and then we pass in the data. So data is register. Oh no, we don't need to pass in the register. In this one we need, maybe, where do we get these ones? We need the login. Remove these. Actually, we just need login, input props, which is going to be email and password, only these two, and then let's bring them login, input props. Okay, so we pass this data here, and then we can also just like, of course, console.log the response. Okay, so let's just go ahead and try this. Okay, okay, so clear everything. So basically, of course, if you just try to pass in wrong details, we get just like an error, I believe. By the way, do we have loading set to this? So can you say set is loading or something? Okay, set is loading, true, and after that we can say set is loading to false, and in the future we might just change everything to using to false here. In future you might just change and we switch to okay. So I think we are good. Okay, so if you try to sign this, this way definitely just like have, you can see the it returns undefined. I think like this is like the error. Let's try to pass in the actual things here. The email is super admin, so just copy this. We'll also capture the errors. Okay, I think in the next video I will have to do like error handling. Okay, so we have this issue is we need to, when you're creating the passwords, we need to we need to be able to, because now super cannot actually work because they said we have this the password protection thing that we have. So for this case, okay, what I can just like temporarily do is I can temporarily remove this and just use this a text input. Just I say password, and then I say here password, type password, errors. We don't need a password, I believe, for this. Maybe we could just say like, okay, then this is going to be the lock. You can just like temporarily put the text input. It will work, as you can see here. Let's just clean this. I'm saying password is required. Okay, so I'm just going to go and try to submit this. Password is required. Seriously? Okay, what is going on here? Password is required. Said everything was okay. Let me just try to and put again super. I think I have this here, super, and then it says super. Okay, so you can see, I see here data, and inside the data object, as you can see, we have the data and the error, and then inside here we have our access token. So you can see the access token, the refresh token, and the user here. If you check these, they must be the actual the access token to are generated. You can see we have now back the access token, refresh token, and we have also this user. You can see the super admin, and from this, if we check for instance the role of, and we find the role is the super admin, from this, okay, we can just go ahead and we route to the onboarding where you can register people and do all those things, and we also set this user in session. So what do we need to do to keep all this information? So we need two places. We need to do this, both at the server and also at the at the client. We can save all this in the we can save all this. So we need to do two things with this information. So one, need save the data in, for instance, if we're using like zustand, and then we have of course now to route the user according to the we have to route the user according to the role. Okay, so we can just like do that. And how? So we could just, I think, implement the zustand. The access token and refresh token are going to be saved in the cookies, and these ones, and also the data is going to be saved in the cookie, and this is going to help us to always access the user at the server if you want him. So if you just go back here, we have the logout. We'll implement the logout in a second. So you see here, after doing this, you can wait login, and then we need to handle the session. We're not going to use middleware for that, I believe. So I need to use zustand. I know, yeah, I'm just going to use for keeping our user on the client. I'm just going to persist the user using zustand. I think we have already used zustand. I don't need to we can just use, so you're just going to show this to if you go back here, you have the user of the signature here. Okay, so if I have, just going to just say I have a user. Okay, I have a user of this data. So what I need from this is going to be create for me a zustand store one, set the user in session. So this is going to be so this one I want to use, so here I just want to say I want to use zustand to create for me the session. I want the user or the session to be persisted. Okay, I also want to be able to to remove the session, or to like log out the session, or just like in bracket here we set the user, just like that. So I think that this one, yes, it should just like have us there. So let's first install zustand. So we can just go here and we say zustand npm. I think just like should be like npm install zustand, and then we just go ahead and we set up our store. Okay, and just go to the web, just like this. Npm install zustand. This I think comes with types, you can see that. Okay, so we can just see the store here. So I will define this and define the store interface, user, set user, and also logout. Okay, that's nice. I would also want, I think, in the logout, I'm just going to take in the logout, I need to call the clear cookies function. Okay, and also create for me it's going to be, I think, like a server action. This one is going to be just need the server actions, like create server user. Okay, server user, which also takes in the data, and I will just give the nature of the data. I think from here is a good place. Data is just a user, I think this is the data that comes back is an object. Okay, something like this that takes in the data. Okay, and from it saves the access and refresh tokens in the cookies, and also sets the user in the cookie. Okay, now for the I'm just going to put here for the access token expires in 30. We said this one expires after 60 minutes. 60 minutes, and the refresh token expires in 30 days. Okay, and now in the user, I'll just see what it will do for the user. Okay, so just like that. So this here we just need it updates the zustand, which we just like we don't want just to use okay, these are the server action. Update the zustand, the zustand store here, and just say copy this, and this is going to be let's just call store. So just going to create the store. So create a new folder here, store, and then in the store just going to have auth.ts, and inside here I'm just going to add this. Why don't we have zustand? Why did I install the zustand? I thought I can install the zustand from here. Oh, sorry, I think we are using pnpm add zustand. My bad. So it has this. This is good. Super admin, teacher, and the student, and then we have the interface session data. I don't know if we need to keep the access token and the refresh token also in the session, and then the user session store. We have this user set user sets the session data, clear session. So in the use session here we set the user, access the session data and create user with this, and then we result into that. Then clear session. Okay, so the clear session is we call the logout server action, so we need to create these inside. I think so, they should be under maybe login. Why didn't we just call this from auth? Just going to call this auth, and let's just go and see the server actions here. They don't have to. Just going to change them in a second. Just go in auth, and down here let's do the C. What do we have here? So the user schema, I don't think we need to have. We can export the user. I'm just going to do this. Remove all these. We can just get this user from here, I believe. So export interface user, so you can just get this from here. So we already have a user, so just going to say here I'm also going to remove this. just going to maybe just say session data. Just like this, and this is the user. Okay, so we can also export this. I'm seeing like interface, this is exported. I don't know why. Could actually just like even cut this and take it in the types here, and then inside here we can just like call this user from the types. Similarly in here should just call this user. Oh, I think we already have a user somewhere, do we? Okay, it's just because this is not like a type, so you could just call this interface. Okay, and then this one will now work. These string, and even this is a string. So create session, async create server session. So this one maybe could just be create server. Remove this data, which is going to be like type of session data. Remove this. And now I'm just going to validate here. So just going to say here const cookie, just going to call this one cookie store. So it's going to call it cookie store is equal to await. Okay, await cookies. So these are like some of the changes in Next.js. Since the cookies are awaited, now you can access the cookie store, and now we can set the user json.stringify maybe data dot maybe user. You need like stringify this http secure strict 60-minute access token expiration. So here is trying to set it to this, and then for cookie store we can also just say cookie store. Okay, dot set access token, and this is data dot access token 60 minutes, and then the refresh token. So here just going to have cookie store dot set refresh token. For this is going to be data dot refresh token, and this is for the 30 days, and you return success to true. Okay. So this one I think returns a promise. Yeah, so you can see it returns a promise. So when we log in here, you can see we have response.data.data gets this data here. So actually the const data is equal to this, equals to this. Okay. Okay, so this is the user data is this. So before you return this, we can actually just say await, and we can say create server session, and then we pass in the user data, just like this. Okay, so this one will be able to create for us the session. So this one will create a server session, set the tokens, and then it returns back this. And even here you can just simply say return data. And if you wanted this to be type safe, we could also just say this returns, for instance, a promise, and then here we pass in something like session data, just like this. uh, mm, the function lacks ending return statement, and return does not include undefined. Oh, okay, let me just like leave it like this. Let me see this. It returns here a promise of any, but we know actually what it is returning back is this. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. Create server session, then there is logout, so let's just remove this. So it's going to be also first get the, I think, the cookie store. So you say const cookie store is equal to await cookies, just like this. And now it is from the cookie store. Okay, that you can delete the user access token and this, and then you can also return success. So this becomes the logout. Okay, let's see another one. Get current user from cookies. Okay, so remove this also. So just get here, get server user. I'm just going to call this one get server user. So like wherever we want to get the user from the cookies, so you just come here. Before we do this, we're just going to say const cookie store. Cookie store is equal to await await cookies, just like this. And now we can say user cookie is going to be cookie store. So this is now on the cookie store dot get user. If there is no user, return null. Then you can just say json dot pass this dot value, return user schema dot pass. I think at this point I'm just going to say return user. It's going to say return user as user. And then I say this So I think the here we get back the user, you can see. So whatever, we're just going to call the server user. So if you want a server user, we can use this. So going back to this side, we have create user session. Okay, so you can see here it says await. So set user here is await create, and then it is passing in the session data from this side. I don't think we need to call this. Okay. Set user. Whether you can just say this side on this, on the set user. It is saying it is accessing the session data, or it takes in the access session data. So we already did this, we don't need to do it again. This is going to be done at that level. And then it's saying if there is success, which, so basically in this one we're just going to be having only this. Okay, it just gets the in the sets the user to session data dot user. In the session data, you can see it uses the session data. Okay, and then here is this. Then clear session awaits logout. This one is okay. Let's call the logout if success, and then it also sets the user to null, and that's good. So I think that's what we need. It creates here this partialize. Okay, let's hope everything now is good. Okay, so how do we use this one? Okay, so I'm just going to go back to this. I see if they have a usage. So you can see const set user from user user session, and then you can set user and you pass in this data, which is good. And then logging out this clear await clear session. In a React component, you can have a function for handle logout, and does this. It clears the session from this. We can also get a user from the session. Okay, nice. Let's try that out now that we have done a lot of things. So where do we start? Everything we start from this login. So when someone submits in, we'll call this await login user. So this is where we now have actually whatever we get back here, this is actually session data that we are going to get session data. So whatever we get back here is going to be the session data. Is declared, but it's okay. So here we're just getting session data, and then we could just call from the zustand they say user. Okay, we could just get it from the zustand const, and we just say, for instance, use what does this hook code from the store here? It is use user session. Let me just go and see. get this, and then here we can just get this set user. Okay, and it says it takes in the session data. And if you wanted, actually, like in this case, I don't think it actually just like would really need that. There is no need of passing in all that data. It would take in actually just the user. Okay, here we could just say take in the set user function. It is here. We could just say take in just the user, set user. We'll just say user data, and then here we put actually user like this, and then that means down the road here is actually accepting user data, and then it simply sets user to user data, user data, user data, something like this. It gets this user data, and you can see the type of user and sits in here, meaning that when we call in the login here, and you have this session data which is having a lot of things. I could just come and say that set user, and then here I simply say session data dot. So this one should just like have user. Now we can sort that by going to the login, and whatever we get back here, we can just say as session data. So this will actually send this back, session data or undefined. Okay, great. Since we are awaiting, that is a possibility. So you say session data here. First of all, you say session data dot. Now it has at least these three things now, and since this one doesn't take it doesn't take nar, it takes just the user. We're just going to say that so we could just say here as just user, just like this, and this would also work. Just remove this here. So we set this, and after that we could just check the role. So you say const role is equal to session data dot user dot role, just like this, and we can check if the role, so here we want to route, if the role is equal to, and you can see a super admin, we should just route. So just going to create a router, I guess it is already there, dot push. You can just say dot push to, we could also push him to dashboard, but for now we're just going to push him to this onboarding thing. Where is it? It was in the footer. Just going to go back here, just go to the footer. Like, do we have like a horizontal scroll right now? Seriously, I think it's just brought by this. We just like fix that. So here in the admin, this is the route that we are protecting under all costs. Okay, so I'm just going to route to this school onboarding and errors. So errors, we just route dot push to the dashboard. Slash dashboard. Okay, nice. Okay, so we have here this project which is routing people right now. We started to modify it in the future a little bit, but right now let's just like leave it like that. Okay, so now we can protect this route right now. Let's go to this route. Where is this route located exactly? So we have the school here, and it has its own layout here. Okay, so it is only one route. You can just like protect it from this, or you can just like go to the route itself where we have this onboarding, and we can check from here. For instance, we know const user right now, I think should be equal to await get server user or something like that. Get server user. It's like this is like await get server user, and you just like look at this. I think this is a promise. Yes, you can see this is a promise, and just make this async. Okay, so we get back the user here. User can be null, but if you just say if no use, actually for this we just like check the access token. Here we could just say get the access token. Like we don't need to get all the things here. Here we just only want to know the okay, anyway, here we want the role. So we can just say if, so we could just say so role is equal to user dot role, just like this, and we could just say if no user, okay, if no user, then or okay, role could just say here if no user or role not equal to super admin, then we could just redirect. We could just redirect back to the login. So here in the redirect, this is why we could just say, for instance, the return URL. This is why we could just like specify the return URL, and we could just say return URL was maybe the onboarding, school onboarding. We could just get it from anywhere, but for now just like say go back to this. Okay, I think that would be great. Okay, so you can see it is working actually. So like we have been redirected to the login, and let's try to actually use our super admin and just now go to super like this. Let's see where we are going to be redirected, and yeah, so you can see we have been redirected here to this one. Now we should be able also to go, like for instance, we can also protect the dashboard at this point. Let's go to the dashboard. So for instance, this we could just like check only for the user. So just go to the school. For instance, in the back here, I'm just going to go to the layout, and down here I will check for that. Just await, make this async, and we just say we don't mind about the role right now. We just simply mind about the user. Okay, or you could just even like check for the access token. Okay, we just like do this and then redirect if there is no user. So by right now, if you just like try to go to the dashboard, which I should be able to do now, because actually the user is available. Okay, so for instance, we can now update this information here. Can we do that before we finish? What's the time right now? Oh, okay. Can we just like do that before we go? And we can access this information both on the server side or on the client side, whichever we want, minus even using the any provider. That's the good thing with using zustand. Where is what? School onboarding. I just like want the dashboard. I think somewhere like in the either app sidebar. Okay, so while we have like this use, I believe. Let me see, sadcn updated. Let me just cover it somewhere. Oh, okay, so this is the one in the bottom. So we just need this information for here right now. So this one we could just use zustand, could just say const, and from use use, I don't know, like, why did I name it something hard? User session or something. User, guys, I don't know why I gave it that hard name. It is use user session. I don't know why it is always hard for me to get it. So we could just like do this, put this, and then here we could just like get back the user. And now we can rename this as maybe data, and then we can just say, for instance, data dot, so this is name, then we have email, so you say data, and okay, data dot email, and then the avatar. Now we could just say the avatar is going to be data dot, okay, we have the image, and then we just give it the default value of this one. Okay, so with that we should not have an error. Okay, I just see here error. Use syntax external only works in the client component. Yes. So all over this was not, and by the way, like, there is no need of, if we wanted, there is no need of converting this to a server component. If you want, we can get this from the we can just get it from the server if we wanted. Like, I don't know if there is a need for that. For instance, there is these things here, for instance, logout, which is going to be a click. So we can just like simply make this a use client. Okay, so you can see here we have cn superadmin. Nice. Like, where does the cn come from? Like, just a second here. So we have the name, which is super admin, and then this user, where do they use this user? Okay, like these are like super many places, but I could just go down here. Okay, I believe we have to create this. I thought we created it as a component. This one here, this has to be created as one component because it is exactly the same. How comes we don't have it as a component? I just create it as a component right now, like as in right now. They just extend the header. Even in the header we have the user, and is it doing the same thing here? Yeah. Okay, I don't know how comes we don't have it as that. So I'm just going to create this sidebar, this drop down thing here. So I can just like get this. Okay, I'm just going to call this user drop down. So can I just cut this? Okay, before I cut it, can I just simply copy it? And in the components, I'm just going to create user drop down. Let me just create user menu. The tsx rfc user menu, and then it will return this. Okay, I don't know how many things we need here, but let's stick together. Okay, we need the drop down, and then there is this sidebar menu button, drop down menu, and then we have these triggers, avatar image. You make sure you import these things from the right places. Okay, then we have the icon, then this is still from drop down label, separator, then group, item, sparkles. Okay, badge check. Some of these I'm just going to will remove them, but for now let's first leave them. And also the logout. Okay, so we have many ways now we could customize this. Either we could pass in this, or what we did in here in the sidebar of creating this user, I think it was in the app sidebar. So we created this user here. It is also possible that we're getting it in a hook, so you just cut the copy this, and I just come here in the user menu and just like paste this. So it is like okay to make this one simply a use client, and that means that if we bring this user menu in the app sidebar, we might not actually need these, like so. So if I go down here, we don't need this whole drop down thing now. We simply add the user menu just like this, and similarly. And now this one, we don't need to make this use client. We can also remove unused imports, and this one, they really want this to be Next.js 15 is very much optimized, more especially on the unused imports. So make sure that you don't leave these unused things. If you don't use them, simply remove them. They increase the final JavaScript bundle for nothing. Even these sidebar things with Y you're not using, simply just remove them. Just like this, just like that. Okay, so this looks great. And I can just like simply copy this now, this user thing, this user menu, I can simply copy it to this side header. So just go to where we have it also here, and just simply add this. Okay, and that means we don't no longer use this, and this gives us already, should be good. Yeah, so you can see the super admin thing is now all over the place. And now we could also just go to it and update a couple few things. For instance, the CN, we can get the initials. So say const initials is equal to get, I don't know if we have this, but we have this function somewhere. Let me just go back to the documentation. Next.js reusable functions, reusable forms. This is why we have reusable functions. So we have one for get initials. So you can just say copy this get initials and just come back to the lib. Where do we want to put this one? Okay, in the lib. Maybe we already have it. We don't. So we say get initials .ts, and we just export get initials. It takes in a name, so we can just go back to this and we say initials is get initials, and we pass in user dot name just like this, and then we can put these initials here. Okay, great. So it seems everything is okay. We can also implement the logout functionality. Before we conclude this, we have the last one, which is this logout. I believe we can we pass as a child And now we can pass in now here a button. I wonder if I just like put a normal button with a logout, how would it look like? Let me see. Okay, so this is looking like this. So before that, how was it looking like? Let's first see how this one was looking like. Okay, because of this as a child, can we first remove this? It must be one child. Refresh. Okay, this looks actually great. It has an icon. Okay, I'm just going to use now a button. So just use here a button from like this, and on click, so just say here on click, just say handle logout, just like this, and let's create this handle logout function on top here, and just come here and say function handle logout like this, and for now just say console.log logout. Okay, so now you see how this looks like. We could just give it a variant, okay, of, for instance, ghost. So this would look like this. So I could just give it a bigger thing. Alternatively, I would just use a normal button, but I give it the class name. Now we could also get the styles from the buttons if we wanted, but okay, just say flex items center space x of 2, and maybe width of 4. I don't know if that one. And that looks good. That one will just work. Maybe I don't know, space x is not working. Okay, just give this one a class name of margin rate of 2. Okay, so this will work. So we could just like test out if I click that, does that where do I get now this? This thing of dialogue, and like it is also like becoming an actual hassle. It is for now. We just do this, clear the console here, click this, so you can see logging out. So what we need at this point is to actually call the logout function. So from this user session, you can see we also get this function, the one of clear session, and in the handle logout we just await for clear session and we route the login. So here just going to make this an async function, and we're just going to await. Okay, I just await for this await clear session, and we need to get this from here, clear session. Another thing we have to route So const router is equal to use router, and now we can just say now router dot push to login, just like this. Okay, let's just like try it out. Now we can also just like do a check if someone is authenticated and tries to go to the login, should be redirected to the dashboard. So for instance here, in the auth, so in the login page here, we can do a simple check. There is something we are doing inside the login. This is why we are doing everything, of course, but in here we can also try to check. We'll create something. We'll not be checking like this. We'll check create a function that's going to be checking and log out. Just simply call it, we'll be simply just calling it, and it will be doing that. And I think it was inside, it must have been inside, let me see, the Next.js documentation. So if we just go to Next.js docs, and let's go to authentication, there is where we have generating database session, optimistic, creating a data access layer. So you can see here we have these things which verify the sessions and all that things, and returns this with auth true and the user ID of the logged in user and the role. We need something that gives us this kind of data easy, but you can see even there is this function verify session. Really, this one is really nice. And it checks if there is no session, then it simply takes this person away. We could just have this something that can also return back is auth and this. You can see from this await, it gets back the session, and then I can just get that. But the good thing that we already have that, so we could sort of, where did we just go to this here? Okay, so we could just like have this. I'm just going to copy this, and I'm just going to go to the login here on this page here. So here we just try to get the server user async. Okay, so here we just simply say if there is a user, please redirect to the dashboard. So like if a user tries to come here and and is logged in, so this is going to prove to us that you really logged out. If you just like redirected, if I simply now go back here, for instance, right now, I'm still logged in. So let's try to go to the login. So this should just like redirect back to the dashboard because we are actually logged in. So if I just go log out now, like this should just like clear the session, and you can see clearly that we have gone back to this here. So finally we can just like log in one more time, super admin, and then we have super is the password, and you can see this routes to the onboarding where now this admin can register a school. So this is like really cool, and this is going to be to form a fundamental uh challenge, or is going to be fundamentally basing everything is going to be basing on that. Right now we have been able to actually add the authentication persist session. This has been really nice. I've enjoyed making this video because we have at least all the things that we covered in the other video. We actually used them, whereby we created the routes, generated the tokens, and we have used those tokens in this. We have persisted them in the session, and we are using that session. We can get the session both at the front end. We can also get the user at the back end. For instance, if we went to the dashboard and wanted to put a welcome message for whoever is logged in, and I think we just have a welcome message of the person that is logged in. Now we are able to actually do that. Okay, yeah, so thank you so much for watching this episode. I will see you in the next one.